paying money. Okay? Microsoft can't give this away for free. They actually have to have servers. They actually have to have things running. People are paying for their users to have an app in Dataverse. Okay? And some of these apps aren't being built by Fred in finance. I always put my own name there. So, Sally in finance. They're being built by dev teams. They're going through proper dev test production. So there's some serious data being done inside your Dataverse, okay? So please don't assume that apart from dynamics, which everybody forgets is Dataverse, there are some other big business things out there being done inside Dataverse, okay? And we need to understand that data, and we need to bring it into the part of it. I think Microsoft have got lots of things right. Fabric I am loving, but one of part of Arun's message in the keynote was bringing data into one place. The idea of one lake is lovely. We need to bring Dataverse inside that one lake, and that's what we're going to look through today. So, I apologise for all of you that know Dataverse incredibly well and will know it better than I do. But let's go and have a look. Let's just do a bit of a zoom in. It's a big room. Oh, one thing I should have said, if you have any questions, please just do interrupt me. It's not a problem. So, when you're doing platform developments, if you're doing it in a way that's organised, things is how you should be doing it. Best practice, you're working in solutions. Okay, inside a solution, you put all your bits. And the minute I've got a couple of tables, I've got an accounts table, which is one of the standard tables, and I've got an expense table. Okay? And we're going to build a really simple app. So we're going to go to build a new app. We're going to come up here. We're going to go to a model-driven app. We're going to wind the internet to work faster. LGB demo, that will do. Create. And the thing inside Dataverse is it's more than just a database. Inside that database, you've also got forms, you've got views. Views mean which columns to show, they don't mean a select statement, don't get excited. There's all those parts that are in there, okay? So that when I come to creating an app, I can go add a page. I'm going to pick a Dataverse table. I'm going to say, let's have a count. And let's go find that expense table, and let's click add. And it thinks about it for a bit, but while it's thinking, let's make it save. And this is a very simple version. It should take far too long to load. Let's do publish. Go for it.
I'm often forced to maintain data flows against my will in Dataverse. Is it possible to build something like do or?
So say that again. You're trying to make reports of your Dataverse.
Data flows like.
Okay.
Stuff like
We're gonna connect our accounts table here. We're gonna connect it to. Well, I'll show you how it's gonna get into Fabric. I haven't remembered I'm at a Fabric conference. I promise. We're having trouble loading a preview. Let's just try loading play and see if that works better. Everybody pedal faster, please. So let me explain while this is thinking about coming up. Oh no, there we go. So without much work, okay, I've made a model driven app. We're just gonna zoom in a little bit just so you can see what's going on. Down the left hand side here, I've got a menu. I've got my accounts table. I can click on one of my accounts. Okay, and there's a form. It's got a couple of tabs. I can see related records that are there, so I can see my related contacts, etc. Okay? That I haven't done anything. Okay, the only thing I've done before this session was build the expense table, because that's a custom table. Okay? So if I go for the expenses, I can go for making a new expense. It gives me a little form. I can put MGM Grand Hotel, today's date, and lots of wonder. And we can go save and close. Okay? And it's put it in there. I haven't set up my views correctly. You can see I've only got the name and the created date. I could quite quickly and easily go in there and change the columns and do it. Okay? So for a speed of creating an app, so thinking about those Excel users, speed of creating an app, Dataverse is great. Okay? We can have people having apps in there and doing Excel-like kind of things, really fast, really quick, really easy. Okay? So that's actually quite a nice way for people to create data. Now we want our data to be in Fabric. Okay? So, we've created an app, we've done that part. So, Dataverse shortcut to Fabric. Okay? Shortcuts. I'm sure you've seen lots of people mention shortcuts and how they work. It's basically a connection. I'm not going to bring all the data in, but I'm going to put a shortcut in that means it acts like all the data's in. Okay? But I don't have to copy it across. We will a little later look at copying some data, but we'll work from there. Okay? But there's two ways of doing this. I'll let you know now, one of the demos is broken, so we're not doing that one. It's not the one I like anyway, so that's fine. We can either start a date. There's a thing to fall over. I'm going to fall over a lot, so I apologize now. You can either start a Dataverse, and we go from Dataverse, I want to push this to Fabric. If you do that, okay, and I've got some links to some blogs later with some fantastic people who've done things. If you do that, at the moment, all of the tables go. Okay, I will show you the results of that, and I'll show you how to find that, but I'll show you the results of that in a moment. When you've done all the tables, remember I've only created one table. I've actually created 5 custom tables for a couple of demos I've been doing during the day. But I'll show you how many tables come through. The other option is to go to Fabric and go, I want to select that table and I want to make a shortcut. And how does that work? And that's nice and easy. Okay? And you can pick. And what you can also do, because you don't end up with one Dataverse. You end up with one Dataverse for that app over there. You end up with one Dataverse for that app over there. And multiple dynamics if you're an international company. So you've got Dataverses everywhere. And you want to be able to pick and choose and bring them in from different places. So that's where the pull tables perhaps works a little better. Okay? So, let's go through this. So if I go back into my solution, let's just go back on that, stop it trying to do those things. Okay, so tables. Let me just give you an idea that's here. This Dataverse, all I have done is add about 5 tables of mine. If I go to all, there is a little scroll bar, it's a little button that gives you a hint. There are a whole bunch of tables being added in there, okay? And there's a whole bunch of system tables behind it as well. And so there is so the tables it picks to push through are the ones where they're tracking changes. By default, all the custom tables have got that tick turned on. And currently there is a bug that you can't untick it. Okay? I'm going to show you a slide to a wonderful lady who is my partner in crime. Unfortunately, she's not here with me. She would like to be, but she's not. A lady called Claire, who has been harassing, one of my demos today, she's been harassing Microsoft for the past week. Got the right engineer in the right place, doing the right thing, and demoed it, and he's gone away and fixed it, so they've been awesome. But she knows the right people, it's great. So I've got all these tables here. And at the top here, don't think it's export, because hey, that is logical in my head. There's a link to Microsoft Fabric here. This is new, okay? You used to do it doing Azure Synapse, okay? And there's lots of blog posts out there that talk you through doing that method. And that method partly still works, but they brought in this new one, linked to Microsoft Fabric. And the point at which I realized it might break, it was too late for me to record. It's now going to work, I've seen some. Wait a minute, which area was I in? I was in the wrong environment. Let me just switch environment, because that one we did get working, and I will show you what happened in that one. Let me get a trial. If I come into here, and I do my analyze, and we go to link to Microsoft Fabric, it'll sit here for a while, and it'll think about things, and eventually it'll give me an error. But what it does, let me just switch over, because I have got screen guards that are working. What it does is it sets up your connection, and then it asks you which workspace do you want to push this into. It then pushes it into a workspace and gives you way too many tables, okay? So let me go and show you the workspace. Here is the workspace. And look at all those shortcuts. Now they're great. There's my accounts table. You can see I've got my accounts records. I've got all 11 of them. They're all there. And I can scroll down and I can find you my contacts. That works as well. But what obviously, if that lot goes into a semantic model, that's not a semantic model. That's, you're American, you're not going to understand spaghetti junction. That's just a mess. Okay? So then you have to start being careful about what's going in your default model. And at the moment, they have it that they don't automatically, everything goes in by default. You get to choose what goes in your default semantic model. There's a tick box. You could untick, so that when you add new, or I think it's unticked by default nowadays, but when you add new things, they don't go immediately into semantic model. That's quite good, because this is a mess. Okay? So, much as I'd love to show you that demo, it also takes an hour to do that first go. The first go. Just to build everything, get everything set up. Once it's working again, set it up, walk away. Okay? Go make that cup of tea, or coffee, or whatever it is that keeps you going. Right? So, let's do it the other way around. Okay? So let's go. So here I am in a little workspace. I've got my lake house. My lake house doesn't have a lot in it. It's got a table ready for something a little later. We're going to go to get data and new shortcut. That's not going to work as Sue did. Let's just zoom out a little bit. That way. Get data, new shortcut. And there's new things appearing here every time I look. And there we are, Dataverse. Okay, it was Table, come on, table. There we go. It's asking you what's your org, okay? And if you look at one of the easiest ways to get this is if you've got an app, it is that bit there. Now, Arun showed, I think it was Arun showed it, that they're going to start giving you choice lists. It hasn't yet come through for Dataverse, but I'm expecting it to. Okay? If it doesn't, believe me, I'm going to be the first person knocking on the door, saying, I'm fed up of copying this in circles. But that's the part we need to copy, the bit after the first double forward slash, up to the next forward slash. For those who work with Dataverse, you'll be used to copying that around for various reasons. And I put that into there. I've done this before, because hey, I tested my demo for once. But it'll set up a connection, okay? And that's important to understand. Okay, it's going via one connection. I'll come back to that in a second. And here we are. And look, there's a whole lot of those for the Dataverse people in the room. Choices. Yeah? There is your global options table. Used to be a pain to get to that. There is your options table. That is your choices. Okay? So you can bring through. For those of you that aren't Dataverse people, don't worry about it. But by the way, choice and choices is two different things. And they're horrible. But there's my account. It's partitioned. I can get to work out completely how the partitioning is working. But I've got to change data in there, okay? So there's various things that are going on there. But I'm just going to tick. I'm not going to worry about partitioning. And click next. It gives it a horrible name. So I can press the edit button, which allows me to change the name. And I'm going to call it account Dataverse. And obviously you come up with good names, things that make sense. And then we're going to click create. And again, go for it.
So, can I create shortcuts for, let's say, 500 tables and run SQL queries on them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I want that.
so I've got my data. So did somebody else have a question as well?
What was the question?
The question was, sorry, I should repeat it. The question was, can I take data and can I run queries on it? Okay? Just as a side note, complete side note, you can connect SQL Server Management Studio to Dataverse and run it straight off Dataverse. But we're in a Fabric conference, so we won't mention that. Okay.
So, will I run into this here?
I don't know. I won't on this demo, so I've only got 11 rows. But if you are hitting that, and that's a real issue, okay, there is a wonderful man wandering around this conference. Was anybody on the Scott Sewell workshop on Monday? There's a guy called Scott Sewell, who is my resource. There's various people nodding. My resource for he's the person on the Power BI, the Fabric cat team who knows how to spell dynamics. The rest of them all look at Dataverse don't know.
Yeah, what's the question?
Pardon?
What was the question?
The question was can you run SQL on his Dataverse? Okay? So what I'm just going to quickly, I've got a question. I'm just going to quickly show that I can. So if I come here and I go to my SQL Analytics endpoint, okay, and I can do a new SQL query, select name from account Dataverse, and press run. There you are. There's it running SQL against it. Yeah? Good question.
So when you actually from Fabric, for instance,
They're not two different tenants, same tenant. Dataverse is the same tenant. Yeah. Tenant. Yes, there's no charge for it. You'd have, yeah, you could do it, you'd put the path in, and you'd have to set up a different connection. I don't think so.
There was a talk yesterday where they spoke to this a little bit, where they were saying that what's happening is the database is being mirrored, but that mirrored database is going to be smaller and compressed, and it'll count against your database capacity. So you're sort of like paying up front for the smaller delta version, and I think that also.
Okay, so yes. So it's on the Dataverse. It's on the Dataverse side.
Yeah.
It's not on the Fabric side.
And then
It is, it's
here,
creating a copy, it's creating a delta copy
Yes.
in Dataverse.
Right.
So it's
Yes.
creating a lake house with Spark Cluster in Dataverse, and then shortcutting it to
and the payment is against your capacity in Dataverse. So
So yeah, it's on Dataverse.
storage, obviously.
Yep.
So it's within the cost.
Yeah, it's Dataverse capacity. But the one other thing to be aware of is if you're doing heavy hitting against your Dataverse, against this table, you're hitting Dataverse. You're not hitting Fabric. You're not hitting your Fabric capacity in here. Well, you are to a certain degree, but you're still hitting Dataverse. So you need to be aware of that. If you have a very busy dynamics and you're doing this to your dynamics, you might get complaints if you're going to do heavy recording.
yeah,
It's the issue, and I've seen it happen on one particular client who they're doing this, and they're feeling it in their dynamics. So yes, there might be mirroring going on, but if it's a busy dynamics, it's got to maintain that mirror, and so therefore there's a balancing act to do in there, and so there's a whole discussion going on between a bunch of people I know as to what impact it's going to have on dynamics. Yes, as I said, yeah, a very busy dynamics, yeah. So say that again. Yep. You're right, but you're still impacting your dynamics on the other end, and there's going to be an impact somewhere.
No.
I'm happy that I have to make you stepping into a realm that's deeper than I know. I'm happy to if it's a difference in a different one, ask me a question. I'm going to take to Scott.
That's the difference between mirror and pure shot. If you have a pure shot, for example, to Amazon, you are directly.
Yes.
But here, you have a mirror data on your lakehouse. So if you are one lakehouse, so data, usually SQL engine default. So the only thing is how then after Dataverse is checks for changes. But this is different mechanism. There is a change tracking we were talking about. It's
Okay.
always has to be ticked because then the changes are propagated via the service.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna have to have a conversation with Scott. Okay.
depending on when you spoke with Scott, this has changed. The first version that you did videos of was using the PDF endpoint
Yes.
to surface the tables, and in that case, you can bog down the CRM when you're asking queries. But
Okay.
like a select start from context could make problems.
Yeah. And it's
These
so.
are-
So actually, I probably need to go back to the clients and see what the impact is there. Yep. Okay. No, thank you. I might give you something to go and check out and look into.
So
Another question.
if I've got just dynamics and UAT dynamics, I want to create a link to each of them. So I use that in separate lake houses, separate workspaces. What's the best practice on this?
But it depends what you're trying to do. Okay, my question there is a classic consultant, it depends. But this,
Use one of them for development, one of them for production data.
that's what I would probably go for, if it were going for production compared to going for, that your production reporting is going to be separate to your UAT reporting.
Right.
Now, on your UAT side, you might have something in the middle that you can do some comparison, but I would probably split them. I don't know
My
what the
question
things.
is how do you split them in separate lake houses? Do you split them in separate workspaces? Where is it?
I would probably, depends what your access is going to be. So, to make it easy for access, chances are the people who are looking at UAT are not the same people looking at prod.
Correct.
So therefore I've got in separate workspaces, make it easy. To put that clear dividing line, you then don't have to worry about security.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay? So, we can do our querying, we can bring in multiple copies of dynamics, which is one of the things that I struggle with. And Power BI just cannot handle you bringing in multiple dynamics reports into one place. It struggles usually. But I can do it here. I can bring them together. Okay, it is very quick. And it built all sorts of apps. That's the pink things, and Power Automate. That's the blue thing. Okay, and then it built all sorts of those, and they'll be being used by all sorts of people. I know some large customers, some of them are very public on Microsoft sites, who have thousands of users every day using Dataverse and using apps of that. Okay, some large companies. One large pharmaceutical, I won't name because I don't have their permission, has all of their health and safety stuff being done by an app, being used by over 50,000 users. Okay? We have a couple of copies of the app because of languages and things, but I can get data from another source. And there's Dataverse. Okay. Again, my dynamics, but typing in that line. And I can go, let's go find a different table this time. Let's go find contact.